Today's video is brought to you by HelloFresh.
Enjoy fall's freshest flavors. Every HelloFresh recipe includes ripe, just picked produce that travels from the farm to your door in less than a week.
Getting back into the fall season can be busy, but weeknights can be made even easier by following foolproof step-by-step recipes that are usually done in about 30 minutes or less.
All right, boys, got the pasta going in.
All HelloFresh recipes come with pre-portioned ingredients, so you get just the right amount of food for your recipe, which means less prep for you, less wasted time, and less wasted food. HelloFresh offers a wide variety of different recipes, anywhere from vegetarian, pescatarian, fit and wholesome meals, anything you need to fit your goals. And guys, this is looking so freaking good right here. Oh yeah. Not only does HelloFresh help us pay for car parts, but it actually saves us a lot of time here at the house. We are legitimately on a HelloFresh subscription, and we have it almost every day, and the meals are delicious. And if you guys want to get started on HelloFresh, all you have to do is go to HelloFresh.com, use our code BoostedBoys65, and you'll save 65% off on your order, and you will get free shipping. And yeah guys, it's as simple as that. HelloFresh.com, code BoostedBoys65. Thank you to HelloFresh for sponsoring today's video.
All right, guys, so today we're doing some more work on the old jet boat here. We got her pulled back into the shop. Our last outing with the boat was very successful. We've actually taken it out twice now. We've had no issues running the all motor setup, but there's some final things that we've been needing to button up on this thing for quite some time. We are also getting ready to prepare to turbo this thing later on, which we're really excited about, but we have some wiring that needs cleaned up. Also, we need to work on getting the rear seat cover back on this thing. As you guys know, the seat cover was hitting on the intake manifold over there. So we're getting the intake off right now, and we're gonna kind of weigh out our options to see what we can do on an intake manifold to clear the seat cover so we can get that on there and run the 4 seats in this thing. We do have that little sand trap that we put in the boat. I don't know where that guy went, we got it off, but
It's in the trash.
it's in the trash can because it worked great when we took this thing out on the lake. It did not fill up with any sediment really out on the lake, but once we took it to the river and we were running some shallow water, after about half an hour that thing was pretty packed up and clogged, and we ended up having to reroute our coolant hose to enjoy the rest of the day. So long story short, that guy is gone and out, and this guy right here we got from Torchcraft. This is their sand trap designed specifically for the boats. So this is much larger than the one we had in there. We're going to be swapping out the previous one with this guy, and then we went ahead and also got these pump guards from Torchcraft as well. So these guys will weld right on like so, something like this. So it looks like we'll probably have to trim this back just a hair here, but these guys will weld onto the back of the boat like so, and then these will just be a bash bar and sort of protection for the jet pump here. So if we like go over a big log or something like that, the weight of that doesn't come up here and tweak our pump and bend the back of the boat up. So we got these guys to weld on as well. So we bought this intake manifold a while back, hoping it would fit better than the factory intake in the jet boat since it hits on the seats, and this one ended up hitting worse. And we got to figure out something about the intake manifold if we want all 4 seats to fit in the jet boat. So since we have this one laying around, before we go online and order a fancy billet aluminum intake manifold flange to build our own, since we had this one laying around, it was just over $100. We're going to go ahead and lop this guy off and just bolt this flange up there, crawl up under there, and see how much room we're working with, and then we might be able to build something off of this existing flange. But if that doesn't work, we'll have to make a completely custom intake from scratch.
Yeah.
But we're
mess this one up before spending the money. So
yeah, that other one is not cheap. There's not many other options because we want a flange that has the injector holes already milled into it. That just makes it a lot easier. So we're gonna go ahead and cut into a perfectly good intake here and see if we can make something happen out of this guy. There she is. We got the flange on there that we cut off this intake, and we're thinking if we can just add some angle to that guy, something like that, that might be enough to clear the seats, because before, when this was all the way up, the seat on this side was digging into this corner right here, but if we can get that underneath of it, we'd be good to go. So we got the intake manifold back in the boat here for some quick mock-up. As you saw, we cut that flange off of it, and then we took this piece right here and then we cut a section off of each runner at an angle and then retacked that guy on there. So now it is angling that down and out of the way, and from our measurements it should clear, but we're going to go ahead and set the engine cover on just to make sure, and then if we're good to go there, we can go ahead and get this guy
all fully welded up. It doesn't line up, you know, perfectly right now, but this cast aluminum is pretty thick, so we'll be able to burn that in, no problem. Might be a little tough to get in between all of these in between right here, but we'll get it all welded up, and if that fits, then that is our solution, and we should be able to get the seats to fit on there. All right, boys, we're going in.
Yep, we're down.
Oh yeah, we have plenty of room. Alright guys, so we just got the manifold all welded up here, and I wanted to give a huge shout out to Astro Tools for these turbo step drill bits they sent. Got a whole pack of them right here. These are pretty cool. Like the top of them is like a step bit, and then it goes into a normal drill bit. And we're going to be trying these out because we have to re-drill 2 holes for our throttle body to fit. So this flange right here was made for just a normal cable driven throttle body, but we have our drive-by-wire throttle body, and 2 of the holes line up. These 2 line up fine, but these 2 on the outside here don't, so I welded those holes shut, and we marked where those need to be. We're going to drill those out and retap a couple new holes, and then our drive-by-wire throttle body will fit just like that. It barely has enough room right here, but looks like it will all be packaged nicely. So we'll just get that done, and then the intake will be all good to go. All right guys, so right now we are at the back of the jet boat. We got the intake manifold back on. You want to come over here real quick? You can see that we got the throttle body on there with our drive-by-wire. We did have to modify that like I just showed, but it is all welded up, good to go, back on the boat. So now we should have enough room to put the seats back over the engine here. And if you guys remember, we had the exhaust coming out of this little gap right here. Obviously that's going to have to be changed if we want to get the seat cover on there. So what we're doing right now is we're actually drilling the holes for the vents. So we're going to be doing 2 holes. One will be right here for this vent, and one will be right here for this vent. And these are very important because without these, if any sort of fuel vapors build up inside the engine compartment there and something ignites it, the boat will explode, and that's no good. So we are going to be running these vents. We have a inline blower fan and some ducting to get all of those gas fumes that might possibly build up in there out, and it also will help get some heat out of there as well. But until we go to finalize everything, we're actually going to be using this vent hole right here as the exhaust hole temporarily until we go to turbo the jet boat. So we'll be running 1 vent for right now with the blower motor, and to get the seat cover on, we're redoing the exhaust, and it will go through this hole, which will eventually become a vent hole once we go to turbo the boat. And then we're gonna probably end up running the final exhaust somewhere down and out the back here, but we just don't want to drill a hole until we know for certain where that's going to be, in case we put like a water box on it or something like that. So for now, the new temporary exhaust replacing the old temporary exhaust is going to come out of the hole we drill right here. I already got the other exhaust all cut apart. I got some pieces right here that I have to play with and you know, get that finished up. And this is actually the resonator off of the FRS that we should be putting on the FRS to help quiet it up, but it's actually going on to the jet boat here, and we're going to try to make the boat a little less obnoxious while we're driving it around. So I'm just going to weld this guy right here onto the manifold like so. I already got it all chopped off, so this guy will just weld on right there, and we'll just 90 it here and come up and out the back of the boat, and then that will be our new exhaust until we go to turbo it. But we wanted to get some more final test driving with the boat all motor, make sure everything's good, because we've only taken this thing out a couple times and we didn't want to jump right into a turbo kit right away. We wanted to get the seats on, get everything finalized, get all the wiring done, and just make sure it's an all-around iron out boat before we go ahead and do the turbo kit. So yeah, it's getting really close. We're gonna go ahead and knock these couple things out and go from there.
All right, just got version 2 of our temporary exhaust done here. Another MIG wire special with our inline resonator this time, boys. You know, we're getting fancy step by step. Hopefully we'll have a little less noise. It won't be as obnoxious. And now the exhaust is coming out of our, what will be a vent hole in the future. But for right now, it's an exhaust hole. And while I was finishing that up, Wyatt has been over here busy with the wiring, and it is way more legit now than the first outing in the jet boat.
Before it was a little sketchy. Nothing was fused. There was only one relay to really run everything. So now it's
the starter was on
the starter. You'd have
on
to
demand. You'd have to touch it manually and hot wire it.
So it's really close to being done. There's still just like a couple little things to do, but it's looking a lot better than it did for sure.
So check this out, guys. Wyatt got this relay box along with fuses all mounted up right there. So now we have a relay for everything: the pump, the vent, which is this guy right here. We'll show that in a second. You know, the trim nozzle, bilge pump, starter, and then a main along with the fuses there. And then we have a main battery kill switch right here, so we can turn that on and off. It's all wired very nicely. We also got the intake back on, as you saw, fuel rail back on there along with the injectors. Go ahead and show them your fancy touch panel we got going on up there.
Yeah, huge shout out to Fuel Tech as always. You know, we love their stuff. Got this thing all wired in, really nice. It's all over CAN bus, so all you have to do is go in and program it, and you can tell it to do pretty much anything. So we've got our starter on it now. You can click that to turn some motor over. Then we have our our vent fan.
Yeah, check this thing out. Hit her. Check that out, guys. Got our inline fan going, blowing air out of the back here. I think in the future we're actually going to end up probably running 2 of those. We'll keep one on that side, and then we definitely want one over here as well once that becomes a vent when we go to turbo it, because a lot of the heat is going to be generated from this side of the boat. So we want one over there as well to just get as much of that hot air as we can out of here, along with those potentially dangerous gas fumes in case it ever springs a leak or something.
We don't want to turn this thing into a bomb, so everything, get that vented out of there. Those will work great. And then yeah, that's really all I did up here. We'll have a couple more buttons for other stuff, like this will be the bilge pump, and then we'll hit some lights, and then we'll have an extra for if we ever add some stuff later on.
Yeah, well, she's way more legit now.
Yeah.
So we got main on-off switch right here. This is the trim up and down nozzle, wideband, and the panel switch.
Yeah.
Finally don't have to jump the starter with a wire anymore.
Right.
Making sparks back here and stuff.
Yeah, a little sketchy, but with all that being said, you ready to pull this out and fire it up?
Yeah, we're about to take this thing out, guys, and hear it with the new exhaust, see if that resonator helped at all. We went ahead and got the little drive shaft disconnected for right now because it's not good on the pump to run them dry. They want to be in the water when you're running those guys, unless absolutely necessary. But we went ahead and just unhooked that guy so we can pull this thing out and fire her up, see if it sounds any better. All right, let's see how this thing sounds with the new exhaust on there.
Oh, it's going to be quiet.
It sounded quiet. One little puff, I could already tell. Oh, it's so much better.
That's not bad.
We can actually talk to each other.
It's quiet at idle.
It's way better at idle, but when you rev it up, it's still a little loud. That's way better. That's way better.
She's a little rich.
Yeah, that sounds good. You guys can actually hear me talk now.
Oh, you big strong boy.
I ate my Wheaties today.
Yep.
Just like that.
Dang, dude.
Nice. She
Looking like a complete boat.
All right, fire it up, and I'll sit right here and see how hot it gets.
Bet. I'm going to sit on the 2-step.
It's so much quieter. Yeah. At least I That's not that bad. Everything fits under the cover. It's so close to being a complete boat. The last thing we need to do now is get our new sand trap from Torchcraft installed. And what else? The seat cushions. We have the hinges to bolt on right here. And then at some point we're going to do nice little gas struts, so when you lift up the seat cover, the gas struts, just open it up and hold it up and nice for you. But she's getting really close, boys. And then another vent fan, turbo it. there's still a lot to do, but the turbo is going to be really fun.
Yeah, the turbo kit's gonna be easy, honestly. Like, we build those all the time.
Check it out, guys. We just got the rear seats fully installed, so now we can actually go ahead and lift that guy up on the hinges. And there still are a couple things that we're missing on the boat that we forgot to mention earlier. The reverse handle is not yet hooked up, and there was one other thing. Oh yeah, the bash bars that we got from Torchcraft, still got to get those welded on. But other than that, guys, everything else is pretty much knocked out here. We got the sand trap all installed, got our new AN lines ran to that guy, all good to go. We did have to drill a new hole on the back of the boat for the drain right there, so now we have this handle right here. We'll actually be able to flip that guy and it will drain the sediment out the back of the boat when that does start to fill up. We zip tied our inline fan right here for now. It'll help kind of pull heat out of this side of the engine bay up and out of that vent tube, and until we do the turbo kit and finalize all of that, this is our one little ghetto solution for mounting that inline fan. But other than that, boys, everything else is good to go. Seat cover fits nicely. It's looking good. Long few days, guys, but we've gotten a lot of the little things buttoned up on the jet boat that just needed to get done. So it is becoming closer and closer to being complete.
This is the coolest part. Just
yeah, look at that.
now and actually working.
That looks so nice. Now we want to get some hydraulic struts to add to the sides of those guys, so when we lift this up, it just holds itself up in position. We can work on it, maintenance it, and then the seats just drop back down. Well, after a long few days, we got a lot knocked out on the jet boat, and we're just about ready to hit the water once again to test out all of our new modifications. Along with the added seat cover, we can actually bring a couple extra friends this time. And the next video, it's gonna be a fun one. You guys are gonna have to wait to see that though, but we got the hatch here hooked up to the jet boat. Check it out. And we are going to be taking this thing to the lake and just trying it out. I'm pretty confident the hatch will have no issues pulling this thing, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. The seat cover is on. The jet boat is looking so complete now. It's only a matter of time before we throw a turbo kit on this thing, but we want to take it out a couple more times, make sure she's good. You know, all the wiring that we just did, this new sand trap, still have to do a couple more things, get reverse working. But so much progress has been made. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see you in the next one.